Beneath the surface of the human body, beyond the ordinary maps of biology and medicine, lies an invisible architecture of light and energy. We call it the chakra system, a series of luminous centers that hum quietly within us, shaping thought, feeling, and spirit. Most of us were taught to think of 7 chakras, root to crown, a simple ladder rising from survival to transcendence. But the ancients whispered of more. Hidden doors, secret currents, forbidden centers of power left out of the common teachings. These were not lost by accident. They were veiled, concealed, protected, because their activation meant evolution, an evolution that frightened those who sought control over humanity. To speak of the forbidden chakras is to speak of keys long buried beneath the sands of time. They are the missing verses of a song we half remember. The other colors in the spectrum we've been told are invisible. Imagine a map that only shows you part of the terrain, guiding you safely to certain valleys, but never revealing the mountain peaks where the stars seem close enough to touch. This is the story of the chakras that were hidden, not destroyed, but waiting, slumbering inside each of us like seeds sealed within stone. And why were they forbidden? Because to awaken them is to break the illusion that human beings are meant only to work, consume, and repeat. These energy centers unlock perception beyond the veil, calling forth courage, clarity, and freedom. To live with them open is to live outside the cage of ordinary conditioning. To remember that humanity was always meant to be more than just flesh and survival. As we enter this exploration together, do not imagine we are simply speaking about esoteric anatomy. We are speaking about evolution itself. Every soul alive carries these hidden portals, dormant like sacred instruments left unplayed. Some rest above the crown, connecting us to dimensions of vast cosmic awareness. Some sink below the root, tethering us to forgotten wisdom in the Earth's core. Others spiral around the heart and throat, giving voice to truths our age has silenced. Each is a lost key, and together they form the hidden melody of our full human potential. The forbidden chakras are not merely an idea. They are a mirror. They reflect the truth that the human story is incomplete, and that completion can only come when we dare to awaken what has been denied to us. This journey is not for the curious alone. It is for those who feel in their bones that they are more than what they've been told. It is for those who sense that the human spirit has been pressed into too small a mold, and who yearn to stretch beyond it into the vastness of possibility. And so, let us begin with reverence and with courage. To learn of these hidden centers is to challenge the very narrative of what it means to be human. To awaken them is to stand at the threshold of evolution itself. If the introduction is the doorway, then stepping into the heart of the forbidden chakras is like entering a vast chamber of echoes, where forgotten truths reverberate against the stone walls of human memory. These are not mere energy points you find neatly arranged in a diagram. They are living thresholds, each one a keyhole to an untapped dimension of human experience. The reason they were called forbidden was never about danger in the sense of fire burning the skin. It was about the danger they posed to systems of control, to those who thrive on keeping humanity asleep. To awaken these hidden centers is to step outside the boundaries of the acceptable narrative, to reclaim what was quietly buried beneath centuries of dogma, fear, and deliberate misdirection. At the core of these forbidden chakras lies a simple yet seismic idea that human evolution is not finished. The common narrative tells us that we are what we are, that evolution is a slow march of biology, that consciousness is a flicker in the brain. But when we look deeper, when we listen with the heart rather than the ear, we hear another story. These chakras whisper that the human being is not a static endpoint, but a bridge between what is known and what can still be. Each hidden energy center is like a dormant seed, waiting for the right conditions of awareness to bloom, carrying within it the potential to expand perception beyond the five senses, to awaken capacities of intuition, empathy, even dimensions of perception that stretch into the fabric of time itself. The ancients hinted at these truths, though always in symbols, metaphors, and veils. One might see them in the spiral carvings on temple stones, or in the serpentine motifs that wind through myth. The serpent, after all, was always more than an animal. It was the current, the rising force, the coil of energy that climbs the spine like a ladder of awakening. The forbidden chakras were the rungs higher than the seventh, the points where the ordinary human journey into balance gave way to extraordinary human evolution. To touch them was to taste liberation, to step into realms where hierarchies crumble and the illusions of power dissolve. But what makes them so different from the traditional seven? The answer is subtle and yet clear when felt. The first seven chakras correspond to the unfolding of earthly life: survival, creation, will, love, truth, vision, and unity. They form the map of what it means to be fully human within the world we know. Yet the forbidden chakras extend this map beyond the edges, into territories not yet charted by collective experience. They govern what some would call superconsciousness, a blending of human and cosmic awareness, a vision where self and universe dissolve into continuity. They are not about leaving humanity behind, but about fulfilling its deepest promise. One might imagine the difference like this. The seven chakras are the body of the instrument, finely tuned, resonant, capable of carrying beautiful melodies. The forbidden chakras are the overtones, the resonances that emerge when the instrument is played with full presence. They are not visible strings, yet they vibrate, shaping the music in ways beyond what the player can see. They are subtle, and because of their subtlety, they were concealed. For to tell humanity that such powers exist would be to risk chaos. What happens when one who has not cultivated the humility of the heart unlocks perception that can bend the boundaries of time or sense? Thus, the guardians of wisdom clothed these truths in riddles, hiding them not to deny us, but to ensure we would only seek them when we were ready. At their essence, these forbidden chakras are about remembering. They are the places within us where the forgotten song of the universe still hums quietly, waiting for us to stop and listen. They are not gifts that can be handed down, but birthrights that can be reclaimed, and yet they demand something of us: discipline, clarity, compassion. To awaken them is not to play with mystical fireworks, but to walk through fire and come out tempered. They require us to unmask ourselves, to let go of the identities we cling to, the illusions we defend, the fears we hide beneath. They are not for the curious tourist of spirituality, but for the traveler who dares to dissolve into the path itself. In exploring the core themes of these chakras, we must also recognize the great paradox they hold. They are forbidden not because they destroy, but because they liberate. They cut through the illusions that bind societies together, the illusions of separation, of limitation, of mortality as the final frontier. To awaken them is to see beyond the veil, to recognize that consciousness does not end with the flesh, that thought is not confined to the skull, that the essence of life itself is not bound by time. Such truths can be destabilizing, terrifying even for a mind raised on certainties. And yet they are also exhilarating, like standing on the edge of a great mountain and realizing the horizon stretches further than the eye can reach. In the end, the forbidden chakras are not about escaping the human experience, but about fulfilling it. They remind us that we are not fragments, but fractals, each of us a reflection of the whole, capable of seeing the cosmos within and without. To step into their current is to accept that life is not random, but patterned, not accidental, but meaningful, not closed, but ever opening. It is to step into a larger rhythm, one that beats beneath our hearts, one that whispers through our dreams, one that has always been calling us to remember. There is a story older than words, whispered in the silence of your own breath. It tells of the Forbidden Chakras, those hidden gateways beyond the 7 you were taught. Yet the time has come. These secret centers are not just mystical points. They are bridges between the seen and the unseen, the human and the divine. When you awaken them, you realize the soul was never bound to flesh. It was always light, condensed into form. But this awakening is not about escaping the world. It is about embodying it fully, bringing higher awareness into every step, every word, every act of love. The Forbidden Chakras are not lost. They are alive within you, waiting for attention, waiting for courage, waiting for choice. And so the final call is simple. Do not chase enlightenment like it's elsewhere. Breathe, remember. Let the light rise from within. For the keys are already in your hands. The question is whether you will dare to turn them.